I guess we're live. Got this in back after 90 days of being restored. My Beatles 1964 original record player that was made in the New Jersey area. It was a NIMS Enterprise Incorporated. It says right on the record player. It's made by Symphonic. This is the original store tag or hand tag with descriptions of the four Beatles on the back of it. Pretty rare. Had a lot of people message me in the last 24 hours that just wanted to buy these two items here and the instructions, but I said no, it has to sell with the Beatles record player. That's the instruction sheet, 8.5 by 5.5. Can't be too many of those around. So it sold about at noon today for $5,500. Fully restored where it works again. Can you plug it in at the bottom down there? I get it. You're not gonna move.
And we'll just plug it into that plug.
It don't work, does it?
Yeah, it does. You just have to rig in there.
Working there at 45 RPM. Not gonna play a record on it. It's already sold. Hopefully we got a few people in there watching.
Yeah, watch out.
See it operating. All the foam is wore off all the years, over the years, and that's it. Almost all of them are that way now. Foam, the platter foam what was on there wasn't made to last 60 years. Pretty nice. It's about the sixth one I've sold on eBay in the last 10 years. Couple of new arrivals that I got. Before that, yesterday I saw my Ringo Starr signed album that was on the inside. It went out in the mail today.
Daniel Castillo.
Daniel Castillo said, play the song Go Now.
Go Now. I played that in the instrumental break on the short. I don't want to risk playing a song right now. You can get a copyright strike in a second. But anyway, I saw the Ringo Starr that was signed here on the inside of his great album from 1973, and it went out yesterday and it sold for $700. Speaking of Ringo Starr, gonna be putting up his Christmas album tomorrow. This is part of the Crab Orchard, Tennessee Beatles estate. I wanna be Ringo Starr, Santa Claus. Oh, on the front it says I wanna be Santa Claus. On the back it says I wanna be Ringo Starr.
Daniel Castillo asked, does the record player have a decent tone arm?
Decent tone arm? It's okay. They got rid of the hum, but it's, it was made for kids way back in 1964. Plays at 4 speeds, 16, 33, 45, and at 78. If you had one of these that was in near mint condition with the tags, it would be worth, and the box, $15,000 to $20,000. Jeff Osberger has one that has a big Beatles collection in Illinois. He has one that's almost in perfect shape, and he has the original shipping box it was sent in.
Is he gonna sell it?
No, he's got it. That's his pride and joy in his collection. He shows every year.
Gary.
What's the question?
Gary to us said, did you ever own the original box that the Beatles record came in?
No. One time, somebody found one in the attic, a barn find, and it was on eBay, and I was bidding on it, and it was in rough shape, and it still went for $1,800 for an empty box. That's pretty amazing. This is my COA I got in the mail from Perry Cox about my butcher cover poster I've shown in the last couple streams. This is a reproduction on cardboard from the 70s, but I have the original locked away. And this is a COA from Perry Cox, saying it's original, 16 by 20 inch. The original promo poster for the butcher cover before they banned it. Somebody asked me on eBay today, why was the butcher cover banned? And I said, well, it's pretty obvious. It was right during the Vietnam War and everything else. It was too bizarre at the time. It was Alice Cooper before Alice Cooper. This is a butcher cover I started working on today for practice. It was already, I had tears on it before I got it, but I've taken the bottom half off. I still gotta finish it up. But this is gonna be the whoops.
Good thing that was just a bag.
This is gonna be a giveaway on our New Year's Eve night live stream on a Sunday night.
For your birthday.
But I guess we'll do about 10 o'clock, so it'll be over before the countdown. So we'll do it 10 to 11 on New Year's Eve for your birthday, and I'll have a hard trivia question concerning the butcher cover, and the first person that gets it will get this practice butcher cover. It's a East Coast Scranton number 3 mono.
Nice.
Has the matching mono record with a small 1 on it and the correct goldenrod capital company inner sleeve from 1966. Speak a little bit about Denny Laine. We lost Denny Laine yesterday. This is the Go Now 45 that I played a little bit of the instrumental break on my short. That was his first big hit when he's with the Moody Blues for at the beginning. And I think the Go Now version on the 1976 rock show with Paul McCartney and Wings, with Paul and Linda singing background, is even better than the original. Need to check that out. Go Now from Wings Over America.
Daniel Castillo asks, what about the Bessie Bank original?
Bessie Bank, yeah, it's pretty good. I listened to it last night, but I think Denny Laine made it a rock version, a pop rock version, pop rock.
They said the original.
Bessie Banks did the original, Go Now. It's probably a couple years before, 1962 or 63, maybe Daniel will know. And then the Moody Blues covered it. Here's some Denny Laine albums that I have up for sale on my STICKERMANIA 2853 store. This All Laine from 1973 when he was in Wings, so he must have decided he wanted to do a solo album at the same time. So maybe this was after Band on the Run, I'm not sure. But it says it has a 1973 date on it. A little background on the Denny Laine thing. Paul put out a tribute to him and said they made up in the last few years, and I wasn't aware of that, but in 1981, Denny Laine was pretty upset and sold his story to the Sun newspaper in England and kind of dished it out on Paul, and Paul took a long time to get over that, how Paul didn't pay him very much and pretty much was controlled everything. But I think Denny knew that if he was going to he was with Paul for almost 9 years. That was a long time. That's longer than the Beatles were together, as when they were releasing records. This is a sealed Denny Laine with Paul McCartney in Flight. And this has Go Now on it. It's a compilation from 2008. And also has I Would Only Smile, Weep for Love. I sold the Weep for Love album that he signed. I sold it a couple days ago. Say You Don't Mind, Japanese Tears, Send Me the Heart. And last song on side 2 is Go Now. I should listen to it, but I'm selling it sealed. It was part of the estate sale from Tennessee also.
You okay? You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. He's not okay. He's passed away.
No, I said you because you hit your elbow.
Oh, he hit it. Is that what it was? He hit his elbow. I wondered what hit. I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And
Not
you checking on you. That's good.
This one I'm putting up tomorrow. My last Denny Laine to put up. Holidays. This is Buddy Holly songs done by Paul, Linda, and Denny Laine. You got all the great Buddy Holly songs on here. It's So Easy, Listen to Me, Look at Me, Take Your Time, I'm Looking for Somebody to Love. And on the B-side, Heartbeat, Moon Dreams, Rave On, I'm Gonna Love You, Fool's Paradise, and Lonesome Tears. Oh, there was something about Denny Laine. Oh, yes. We got this Band on the Run 25th anniversary poster here. It was a promo poster. And if you notice all the celebrities on it, and on the bottom here is Denny Laine. And the story goes that he was drinking some wine and he fell shortly after this photo, fell to the ground. So he was pretty sloshed at the time. But that's Denny Laine right there, and I have a Wings of Wildlife. That's the first time that Denny recorded with Paul and Linda. There he is, on the right. A young, well, he's probably early 30s, Denny Laine. He lived to be 79 years old. And did I show all the Denny Laine albums? I got one more show. Master Suite, released in England. Another solo Denny Laine album. He liked the United States. He lived in Naples, Florida, the last period of his life.
Sure.
On Thunderbolt Records. That's up for sale on my eBay store.
Were you born in Florida?
I wasn't born in Florida. I was born in Anderson, Indiana.
I think I was born in Florida.
You ever heard of Anderson, Indiana?
Same place I was born.
I think he was born in Ohio.
No.
What the heck? Where are y'all coming from?
Yeah, he lived in Anderson for, I think, a year and a half before we moved out to Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Showed this before, my video disc from 1981 of the Beatles' Let It Be with the unique artwork on the cover. Would look nice in a professional frame. Will they ever release Let It Be movie? I don't think so. I think the time is come and gone. Don't think it's gonna happen now. My newsstand issue of the Beatles Life magazine from August 1964. Surprised I haven't sold this yet because this is in beautiful shape with the newsstand flap. Real hard to get one. And even the inside's got hardly any yellowing. There's a young when Cruz.
Be careful.
Kind of hard. My brother is a tyrant and he must go. His sister Fidel Castro did a whole article about Fidel Castro. The Beatles are on here right before they went on tour. The money deluge cannot be stopped. The money was coming in so quick. Brian Epstein had a hard time figuring it out. When they licensed like the record player and all the lunch boxes and the Remco dolls and everything, it was a madness. They couldn't keep track of it. The money was coming in so quick.
Yeah, the talcum powder, the game.
Yeah.
The brushes that they used to have.
I've had them so many times.
I know, he's had a lot of them.
Somebody was interested in my Flip Your Wig game today, and they said they wanted to find one that was factory sealed, and I had to reply to them they were never factory sealed. They just put a $1.29 tag on the end and sold them like this. The only thing that was sealed was the contents here. It had a plastic around it. Never factory sealed in 1964. It has an original pamphlet advertising other Milton Bradley games. Just about as nice as you're gonna find one. No
Yeah,
corner
like
splits. What's that? What's Sticker Girl? What's going on?
He's talking about Candyland that I did at your house, and when I was a kid and I flipped the table, I started biting everybody.
She wasn't happy you Braden was beating it.
Oh, the Candy Lane, the board game. That was probably from the 70s. I don't know if it was from the 60s or 70s.
That was funny.
Yeah, I've got it all on video.
I got a couple fabulous magazines from the UK already up for sale. One's with Beatles on the cover. These are the other ones I haven't put up yet. Gene Pitney on the cover of that one, and Elvis on the cover of that with Raymond Burr on the back. And they got Brian Jones on the back of that one. They've always had nice big color photos. We got the Hollies on the front there. Haven't sold my autographs to the Hollies yet from the great indie rock and roll auction. And Big Tom Jones on the back. I don't know if Tom Jones is still performing or not.
Probably.
You used to have to get your like.
He's about 80 years old.
Could you imagine that? They had like little teen pop magazines like that. He said, you've seen it.
I get the news from TikTok.
Yeah, you wouldn't have that back then. Back then, you'd look at them magazines.
There was something about TikTok relating to the Beatles lately. I think it was a live color footage of the Beatles in Germany. Looks to me like that crooked.
Yeah, I realized that it was on that picture. I realized when I set it down, I didn't realize it just.
Got two more flexi discs from
No.
the Beatles flexi disc Christmas records when you join the fan club. That's a 1968. And that's a 1969. You got that a few months before Christmas if you belong to the fan club. See if we open one of these and show the flexi disc.
Did you get it?
I did not belong to the Beatles fan club. I didn't really get into them seriously until I Graduated from high school in 1972.
Oh.
There is the flexi disc. Real fragile. Just this thin plastic. They call them flexi discs. See if I can put that away. I sold my Christmas album. My original 1970 Christmas album went out last week from the Beatles fan club.
George Music for All Seasons said, Jones is 83, and Gary Tua said, did you ever play in a band?
Did I ever play in a band for maybe a weekend? I knew how to play piano and I was gonna learn to play organ when we were all doing garage bands in like 67, 68, but it didn't last very long, I guess. I remember I had practice at my house once for the band and I don't know, just didn't do it. Just practice, but never perform. I just listen to music and love music, but I don't know much about playing the instruments. Only learned how to play piano. This is my 1981 singles empty box set. I got in the Tennessee Beatles estate auction. Don't know what happened to the EPs, but it didn't end up in the auction. I just have the EPs on CDs that I'm selling with it. I think it's up for sale on my eBay store for like $120.
120.
I've sold this before, sealed twice with all the singles in it, and it's when you have this factory sealed with all the Beatles singles, it's sold for $400 twice. I got my CDs out in my car. This is a sealed black vinyl, the 2023 red and blue, but there's quite a few of these out there, and I think the Beatles store is still selling them, but the CDs, what's remarkable, the CD set now is up to like $129 value. It's out of stock even on the Beatles store, and I guess it's impossible to find in the stores. It's amazing how the CDs are almost worth as much as the vinyl. CDs are making a comeback. Sounds pretty good in my car. I'm going to loan it to my son so he can hear the Hey Jude, Lady Madonna, I Am the Walrus, all the new remixes. I Am the Walrus is a strange remix.
I like the first song.
First song.
Whatever song you said, the first. What was that one song called again?
Now and Then. Michelle, Yesterday.
I think it was Yesterday.
Yesterday is one of the biggest hits. I haven't put this up yet for sale on my eBay store. Last thing I haven't put up from the Great Indie Rock and Roll Auction. With the first pressing of My Bonnie. This is the very first record that was ever sold in a store that had the Beatles on it. Called My Bonnie by Tony Sheridan and the Beat Brothers. This is a rock version, late 1961, original, authentic record. Has a German version, then they go into My Bonnie, or German introduction, and then it goes into My Bonnie. It has a COA that it's a real deal from R&R Auction from 2021. There's a young picture of the Beatles with Pete Best. They didn't hang with Pete Best, but the other three were like brothers. Pete was kind of outcast, so it wasn't tough for them to make the decision that Ringo Starr replaced Pete Best. Any questions about that?
That's how that started. That was the original guy, and then Ringo.
He was with the Beatles for we went to Hamburg, 61. About a year and a half. Performed with them 10,000 hours And then as soon as they were going to record Love Me Do, he was on the first version of Love Me Do, but it didn't get released, and he got booted from the band right before.
Why do they all look like each other?
Huh?
They all look like each other.
What do you mean? Because the hair? No, she's talking about with the hair, with them all having their hair.
They look like each other, and that's kind of.
Well, you can see how young George is there. That would be, you might have been 18 then.
Brad Parnell said, I just posted my version of Go Now on Facebook.
All right. Go Now. Did he play the Moody Blues version?
Oh, I don't know. You play Moody Blue version?
He'll reply.
Let's see.
Couple new things that came today, pretty remarkable. A 1967 pressing from the United Kingdom, mono pressing of Sgt. Pepper in excellent, hardly played condition. The gatefold still cracks when you open it up. Got the flips on the top. A little bit of laminate crease there. It's not the wide spine. And the mono pressing. In this way, John Lennon said, you haven't heard Pepper until you hear it in mono. It really rocks out a lot more than the stereo version. And then on the B side, it's got a KT stamp right in the middle of the label. That's how you know it was an early pressing. That was a tax stamp they put on them in England. And it's got the sold in the UK right through the middle of the label. That's the real deal. -1 in the matrix.
What does matrix mean?
The matrix is the cutting. It's there in the dead wax. It says YEX 637-1. You have to know that matrix.
A lot of that stuff identifies who cut these albums and
How early they were.
yeah, it's a way to put them in the album.
Brad Parnell never answered.
He might have got busy.
Brad, did you play the Moody Blues version or did you play Wings? This is a US Sticky Fingers. And I just got this United Kingdom Sticky Fingers from 1971 today. With a real nice cover. And it's got the ultimate mix done by Doug Sachs
I like that.
with TML in the dead wax on both sides. The ultimate way, according to Michael Fremer, they listen to Sticky Fingers, either the first German version pressing or the first UK pressing.
Wait. Brad Parnell said, yeah. Oh, wait. Brad Parnell said, well, I just played it on my ukulele and sang it the way I remember Denny singing it with the Moody Blues.
All right. That's a good tribute, Brad. Get it on a ukulele. That's the original inner sleeve. And then in the United Kingdom, they just put an insert. It wasn't an inner sleeve, it was just an insert with the same picture on the back. Cardboard insert. All right, put the Sticky Fingers away. They come out with they say, the Let It Bleed's the best Rolling Stones album, but in my opinion, Sticky Fingers is the top for me.
Daniel Castillo said, Lieberman and Stroller wrote Go Now.
Yeah, but Bessie Banks was the first one to sing it. Who wrote it again?
He said, Lieberman and Stroller.
Yeah, they were
Later.
they were famous famous writers back in the Tin Pan Alley days when they would come up with hit songs for
Daniel
us.
knows his stuff. Daniel definitely knows his stuff.
You and Daniel need to be friends.
Libra and Stoller, he said.
Lieber and Stoller, yeah. Not quite as good as Lennon and McCartney, but they performed a lot of hits.
They wrote out his songs.
Couple of 45s I pulled out to test my record player. I have How Do You Do It by Jerry and the Pacemakers. This song was turned down by the Beatles. They kind of lackluster performed it, so it wouldn't be selected as their first song. And then Brian Epstein gave it to Jerry and the Pacemakers, and it went to #1 in England. So it was a heck of a song. Who wrote How Do You Do It? Mitch Murray.
Daniel Castillo said they wrote Elvis songs like the people. And Brad Parnell said Let It Bleed was one of the albums my older brothers left behind when they went to college.
Let It Bleed's a good album, but it's not up there with Sticky Fingers in my opinion. This is a top 6. This was a way that England would release a budget single of the hits of the day. And if you really read about the story of these top 6, the drummer on these performances was none other than Jimmy Nicol, who ended up performing with the Beatles when Ringo got sick in Australia. Jimmy Nichols is playing drums on these covers of My Generation, Lovers Consiero, and It's My Life. Jimmy Nichols before he was in the Beatles. But after he was done with the Beatles, when Ringo came back, Jimmy Nichols tried to make it with a couple groups and never really could. He's still alive somewhere, but he's a recluse. He doesn't do any interviews. Had the Stars on 45. It has a medley of all the Beatles songs on here. It's got No Reply, I'll Be Back, Drive My Car, Do You Want to Know a Secret, We Can Work It Out, I Should Have Known Better, Nowhere Man, and then other groups like Venus and Sugar Sugar. It's a big hit. Stars on 45. And how could we not forget Bad to Me? That great John Lennon song that he wrote for Billie Jean Kramer and the Dakotas. A big, huge hit. Like World Without Love by Peter and Gordon. We put up a couple new posters. I can't remember what the title of that one is. It's something to do about the wind-blown Beatles. That was on their Mad Day Out, 1968. And look how serious they look, except for Ringo.
Glare is tough on that one. No matter where I get it, I'm getting glare because of the lamp.
Did they ever make a Christmas song?
Christmas song, yes, for their flexi disc. It was called, it's on one of these, I think. Christmas is Everywhere was the name of the short song that the Beatles did. Pretty sure that's what it was. It's not showing here on the back. I don't have my Christmas album with me right now.
And Ringo has that one Christmas album.
I showed that.
No, I'm asking if they have any.
This came from the, I don't know if I've ever shown this. This came from the Tennessee estate. This is a sealed underground album from Trademark Equality called The Beatles in Atlanta Whiskey Flats. And the strange thing about it, this is not a recording from Atlanta, but it's Shea Stadium from 1965. The bootleggers could not get it right. If you notice how fast they put these out, they just put a cardboard insert over a plain white cover. And that's the way it was sold, kind of under the table in a record store or under the counter. This one's factory sealed from the 70s. Never been opened up. Trademark quality. They have the highest value of the Beatle underground records. I've shown a lot of those already.
You like Michael Jackson?
Like Michael Jackson. I saw Michael Jackson when he performed with the Jackson Brothers. Did this when the song State of Shock came out. I don't know if that was in the late 70s, but I saw him in Cleveland, Ohio. Michael Jackson's tour with his brothers. This is a sealed CD of the Beatles live at the Hollywood Bowl. I never went to the movie theater and saw the 8 days a week when they played 30 minutes of the Shea Stadium remastered. I wish I had, because it was supposed to be in surround sound, but I heard that they kind of mixed, it wasn't true live audio from the Shea Stadium. They mixed in some Hollywood Bowl and some other shows just to add to the excitement. So it was kind of fakery a little bit. A lot of that movie 8 days a week has some tricks in the live sound. It's not from the actual performance. And this is a sealed CD of McCartney 3. This is I guess it's a Coke, it says it's exclusive.
Brad Parnell said, my favorite Michael Jackson songs are still from the Jackson 5. I grew up with their cartoon show.
Yeah, I Want You Back, and I'm not going to remember. That's way back.
Way back.
Way, way back. Here's the 3 fabulous 1963 issues with the Beatles on the cover. You got Ringo and Paul on the front, and they're smiling. And on the back, you got Ringo and Paul, and they're not smiling. So it must have been taken from the same photo session, because they're holding the same props. You got Ringo Starr from the Around the Beatles, their skit they played in the middle, Midsummer's Dream, I think it was called. It was a Shakespeare skit. And Ringo was dressed up as a lion. On the back, you got a young Mick Jagger. It's hardly recognizable to me.
What the heck?
You got George Harrison with his Christmas presents. And on the back, you got Billy J. Kramer again. He was in the Brian Epstein camp. Yeah, Brian Epstein managed the Beatles, Billy J. Kramer, and Cilla Black. But the other 2 artists kind of complained that Brian spent most of his time worrying about the Fab Four, and who could blame him? Full-time job. Where are we at, 30 minutes or something?
38, some minutes, up to you, what you want to do.
So a few more things. Let's show some Denny Laine 45s. When Denny Laine was in Wings. There he is on Let 'Em In, holding a tennis racket. I know I got some more with Denny on them. I didn't have them all sorted out. I was going to do that.
You ever play tennis?
Very little. You got Denny Laine there on the bottom of Letting Go.
He was swimming golf.
No, he ran.
I ran too, yeah, track and field.
You got Band on the Run. Denny Laine was all over that. And here he is in Hi 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 and Sea Moon. Denny Laine's all the way over to the right. And this is the, glad I got this. This is the biggest accomplishment. Denny Laine helped write Mull of Kintyre, which was the #1 smash in the United Kingdom. Him and Denny Laine and Paul McCartney wrote it together. The Mull of Kintyre. It has Girl School on the back. That was Denny Laine's, I think, his biggest moment performing with Paul. He was on Give Ireland Back to the Irish. He wasn't on that. He was on I've Had Enough. Pretty sure that was from Back to the Egg. That was the last album that Denny Laine was in Wings, was Back to the Egg. Those are all the promos. I think that's all the ones. I got some Japanese imports in the other room. I'll show that next time. He was on Mary Had a Little Lamb. That was performed Paul McCartney and Wings in the TV special called James Paul McCartney. Denny Laine is almost a star right with Paul and Linda in that TV show. Check it out, James Paul McCartney. But Paul McCartney gave him a big tribute though yesterday. That's pretty good that Paul did that.
Daniel Costello asked, do you remember Klaatu?
Remember what?
Klaatu.
Let me see. Do I remember Klaatu? Yeah, I got Klaatu, whatever year that was, 1973. About the same time Ringo album came out. Came from Canada, and it was on Capitol Records. And I remember I heard a radio played the whole album, and I had to go get it the next day because we all thought it possibly could be the Beatles because it did sound like them, but it was a hoax. They didn't do any interviews, and they practiced 2 years to sound like the Beatles. And Klaatu, the first album, everybody thought for a couple weeks, maybe a month, that it was the Beatles reunion, a secret reunion for Capitol Records.
But it wasn't.
But it wasn't. It was some Canada studio musicians pulling a great big prank. It was a big hit. It was a good album. I haven't shown the Led Zeppelin.
I don't know if that was the whole name what Brad just said or what.
The Klaatu?
Yeah, he put like.
Let's see what Brad said.
Klaatu Barada Niktu.
Yeah, that's what they said in the movie, the old science fiction movie. The day the earth stood still. That was something they said in the movie. Ringo on one of his albums, I don't have it here, he's dressed up like that from the movie.
Yeah, I remember you having that, but I don't think you have it here.
I have it down in the basement. This is a Led Zeppelin 1. Thought I had the one in the shrink, but I don't see it. I got even one nicer than this. First 1969 issue of Led Zeppelin 1. I've had this on the Plum label before, but this is the regular Atlanta. It's in that box down there. gonna try to find that Clap 2 Ringo album.
You want that, or do you want what do you want? That or the Led Zeppelin that was?
Yeah, I'll show that.
That's in the.
But that down in that box is all the Ringo albums. That has that one from Clap 2. They were still. This is the one that's the beautiful condition of Led Zeppelin, the first album. Still in the factory shrink. Pretty nice. Got my Thorns TD320 turntable repaired also when they did my record player. And it sounds fantastic. Got a new cartridge put on it. And it sounds pretty amazing. I'm gonna have to play that Sgt. Pepper and the first pressing of Sticky Fingers tomorrow night. Show some import records. Came from the Tennessee estate. This is With the Beatles.
There's the album for that Led Zeppelin. That was a Led Zeppelin album.
This is the Ringo album where he's dressed up like from the movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still. That has all to do with the Clap 2. It's called Goodnight Vienna. Ringo went on the top of Capitol Records Tower and did a promo video with Harry Nilsson for this album. They performed Goodnight Vienna.
Sausage.
The big hit by Hoyt Axton's on here, the No No song,
That's what it's called.
and Only You. Maybe that's the song that I did the promo video on top of Capitol Records was Only You. Alright, thanks for finding that. Talk a little bit about With the Beatles. Got lots of versions of With the Beatles. Andrew from Polygram Auctions did a video Sunday about how John Lennon said that With the Beatles is where the Beatles really proved their worth, their second album. And he had 70,000 views within a couple hours. So Andrew from Polygram Auctions, he's the big king in the Beatles YouTube world. He changes the value of something overnight. And he showed this. This is a Australian With the Beatles, and he explained how they weren't allowed to use the regular cover of With the Beatles, and they had to come up with a different front cover. So this is unique from Australia. With the Beatles, this is a stereo pressing. But Andrew says the way to hear With the Beatles is the first press mono pressings, or the 2014. I bought a 2014 mono box set today on eBay that was sealed, never played. The book was sealed, and it cost me $1,500. I thought I got a bargain at that, because the price of it just keeps going up. This is the original baggie from the late 60s in Australia of a unplayed With the Beatles. And a couple other With Beatles. This is pretty sure it's from Colombia. And it's on Odeon. These are hard to figure out, these imports. But it's got Tony Barrow liner notes on the back. And it's got Odeon Pops as the label. Here's another With the Beatles foreign. Pretty sure this is from Venezuela. They made these real thin plastic sleeves. This is a mono. With the Beatles was all over the world, was issued. I have about 20 different pressings of it from this Tennessee estate. Got a lot of them up for sale already on my eBay store. Show these frames and a couple of these things to round this out. Show me that one. This is a Klaus Warman signed print. It's called John Lennon. It's called The White Glasses. And he had 250 prints that he hand signed on the bottom. This is number 105. I got this at the Tennessee. When I went to pick up, me and my son went to pick this up, they had these frames and all these posters that I have everywhere all on a table. And they made me a deal. They didn't have time to put them in the auction. I bought them all. And we got one more here. This is a promo for Free as a Bird, the Beatles Anthology, 1995. In a frame with the sheet music for Free as a Bird on the behind the cardboard poster for Anthology 1. On the bottom it says featuring Free as a Bird, the first new Beatles song in 25 years. Talking about their new song Now and Then for a second. It only went to number 7 in the United States, and then it fell off the charts in 2 weeks. But in the United Kingdom, it's still selling a lot. It's still in the was number 1 for 2 weeks, and the Red and Blue albums were up towards the top of the charts. So England really likes their local heroes, the Beatles. They support them all the way. That's my big posters, the frames that I got from the Tennessee estate. My rock and roll, indie rock and roll auction. I still have my 2 sets of autographs, my Sweden ticket. They're locked away. My 1963 unused Sweden ticket from October 27th, 1963, 3 days before they did the Swedish drop-in TV special. If you ever watch that where the Beatles do 4 songs, they are amazing. Paul, John, George, and Ringo just bashing away at the drums. Any questions?
Daniel Castillo said, did you visit, did he mean Beale Street?
Beale Street.
Beale Street? What's that?
Beale Street in Liverpool? I gotta see it.
It says Beale.
Did you visit Beale Street?
I think he meant Beetle.
I'm not sure what that means.
Ask if he meant Beetle. What's your best on the framed anthology?
He said in Tennessee too. That was what wrote.
Oh, Beale Street in Tennessee?
Yeah.
But Luca Williams asked, what's your best
On
the
this,
framed anthology?
it's up there at $200. If you're real interested, it's going to cost me a lot to mail it. So $175 would be my best on that. Because I'm going to have to put in a great big, have UPS professionally box it, because if anytime you send a glass frame, chances are pretty good that it's going to get broke. I've had that happen too many times. UPS can professionally pack them and protect it to keep the glass from breaking, but it costs a good $100 to have it shipped that way. All right, I think we covered most everything. You've seen this is up for sale on my eBay store. I just like to show it. The Beatles press party at Brian Epstein's office for promote Sgt. Pepper. Great big poster. I got that at the Tennessee estate. And I think we covered everything in my new releases, new arrivals.
That is good.
We're going to talk about Denny Laine one more time, because I just feel so bad about Denny Laine passing away. This is
Austin asked if he could play that Go Now at the end of the string, but you know we're not gonna play it because we sold it already.
no. I'm not. The man paid $5,500 for this. It took me a long time to get it repaired. It's fragile. And the other small record player's not here. Alright, I'm going to finish it off with a tribute to Denny Laine. 79 years old, he passed away yesterday. Here's a video disc for a rock show. Paul McCartney and Wings. And it's got a picture of Denny Laine and Jimmy McCullough, Linda McCartney. And that's when they did the great version of Go Now. Is on this rock show or Wings Over America at 3-album set. This is an unused ticket from when Rock Show was made at the Seattle Kingdom, June 10th, 1976. This is when Paul McCartney was at his peak as far as performing in concert. He was just amazing. This is the tour program. Got some pictures of Denny Laine in here.
Brad Parnell said I used to go see Rockstar at the pub.
Rock show.
Rock show.
Oh, actually.
Wings, Paul McCartney Wings, their best formation was when they had Paul McCartney, Linda McCartney, Denny Laine, Jimmy McCullough, and Joe English on drums. You got Paul McCartney there. You got Linda McCartney there. There's Denny Laine. When he'd been about 33 years old. Joe English. The late Jimmy McCullough, great guitar player. He performed on Thunderclap Newman, Something in the Air, when he was 17 years old. There they are, Paul McCartney and Wings in performance. Linda, Paul, Denny, playing a double neck guitar there. On the Venus and Mars song, Jimmy. There's Linda with when they were in Australia. Them in performance and all the, there they are, all dressed up in their kilts. And the Wings albums that Denny played on. The Great Band on the Run, Speed of Sound, Venus and Mars, Red Rose Speedway. Denny wasn't on Ram or McCartney. His first album was when he was with On Wildlife. Underrated album from Wings. You need to give this a second listen. It's a great album. Alright, that's my tribute to Denny Laine. Thanks a lot. Till when's the next time we'll be doing one?
Saturday if you want.
Saturday night. I got a few more things coming in. I'll get the butcher cover done by then, and we'll have another live stream 11 p.m. this Saturday night Eastern Standard Time. If this is today's the 6th, so that would be
It's the 9th. It's Braden's birthday.
December 9th. See you from Louisville, Kentucky. Thanks for checking in, and thanks for the questions. Next time.